I expect I might lose some subscribers with this video. It is commonly observed that when two Englishmen meet, their first talk is of the weather. They're in haste to tell each other what each must already know, that it is hot or cold, bright or cloudy, windy or calm. This was written by Dr. Johnson way back in 1758, but nothing much has changed. With the weather, there's nothing personal about it. It divulges no secrets. The weather is safe. My name is Jim. This is my channel. Books, reading, and stuff. This video is not about the weather. The weather is safe. You will have seen from the title that this is about sex, religion, politics. I teach English. In early classes with my students, I warn them of the taboo subjects: sex, religion, politics. There's some others like salary, death, cancer, illness, things like this, but the main ones: sex, religion, politics. There's also the issue of privacy and sensitivity. Many people consider their political views, their religious beliefs, their attitudes towards sex to be private, and may feel uncomfortable discussing them in social or professional settings. My parents, they took my uncle, my father's brother, to vote because they thought he should vote. After they had voted, they discovered he voted for the party opposite to the ones they voted for. This was my father's brother, and he didn't even know which way his brother would vote. Politics can be very secret. Polite conversation is usually about building rapport, keeping things pleasant, talking about neutral subjects, talking about books, it's usually neutral subject, travel, food, hobbies, and of course, the weather. It seems like a cliche talking about the weather, but the weather changes a lot in England, in Ireland, and other places. Even here in Georgia, the weather changes a lot. I advise my students, if they hear someone talking English, they want to join in the conversation, to start with something about the weather, not something about sex, religion, or politics. Not asking, do you believe in God? Are you a Muslim? Did you vote for Trump? Or anything like that. So why am I approaching the subject now? It's not something I usually talk about in my videos because I want to be as inclusive as possible. I don't want to alienate people because of my views, but I thought I should come out, as it were. I'm not coming out of the closet. I'm not declaring myself homosexual, although if I did, would that bother you? But a lot of things have triggered this. Reading this is one. Colleen Hoover, Verity. This book is very spicy. There's a lot of steamy romance in it, maybe. I haven't got very far, but I've already been reading about the teeth marks on the headboard. This is too spicy for me. People's tolerance for sexual scenes is subjective. Spice tolerance, like in actual food, depends on the person. With Indian curries, I'm fine with korma. I can even eat a Rogan Josh on occasion, but I'm not going to have a vindaloo. It's too spicy, and I think this is too spicy for me. I'm considering whether to DNF it or not. And along with sex, there's sexual orientation, sexual identity. Those letters, LGBTQIA, plus maybe. L, lesbian. Some of my favourite writers are lesbian. Fingersmith by Sarah Waters is one of my favourite books. And Tipping the Velvet by the same author is probably the spiciest book I've ever given a 5-star rating to. Tipping the Velvet is about Nan, and it's her coming-of-age story in Victorian London, and she falls in love with a male personator, another woman, and it's very spicy. But I didn't have a problem with that. I also like Patricia Highsmith. G, I've read 2 male gay romances, The Song of Achilles and The Pursued and the Pursuing by A.J. Odasso, which was a retelling of The Great Gatsby as though Nick and Jay Gatsby were lovers. I don't care for male gay romance, but this is just personal preference. B, bisexuality. Again, I don't have a problem. For me, I think what goes on in private between consenting adults is fine. But here if it's in private, not in your face, in the street, consenting, that no means no, and adults, not children, and the age of consent is 18. So I have no problems with whatever your sexual preference is and whatever your sexual activity is. If you're adults, it's consenting and it's in private. T, transsexual, transgender. Orlando, I enjoyed Orlando, Virginia Woolf. The character changes gender. I read Willow from Booktube, her collection of short stories, Managing and Other Lies. These were queer short stories. I had no problem. I enjoyed those. Q, queer, questioning. I, intersex. That's an interesting one. Intersex, people are born with any of several sex characteristics, including chromosomes that do not fit the typical binary notions of male and female bodies. We've had a lot of controversy with this in sport. Maria Jose Martinez Patiño, a former hurdler in Spain, was banned from the Spanish Olympic team for failing a gender test in 1986, and there have been lots of other instances of female athletes failing gender tests because they have high levels of the testosterone chromosome, and this is natural. It's in the past they were called hermaphrodites. It's very rare, but it is natural. God creates these people. If God exists as intersex. And asexual, aromantic, agender, not having any sexual attraction to anybody. This is another part of this spectrum of sexuality. Is anyone left? Now, talking about religion. I've been baptized 3 times. First, as a child, I was baptized into the Methodist Church. I was brought up in the Methodist Church. I went to Sunday school. The Methodist church I went to was in Slough. It was known locally as the Anguillan Church because half the congregation came from the West Indies, particularly the island of Anguilla. As an adult, I was baptized in the Pentecostal Church. I wanted to speak in tongues. I believed it, but I never spoke in tongues. And I don't know if speaking in tongues is real, a gift from the Spirit, or whether it's fake. What's your opinion of speaking in tongues? You can let me know in the comments. I've heard people speaking in tongues, but I've also heard ex-Pentecostalists saying they pretended to speak in tongues and everybody was really happy about it, but they were just faking it. So I don't know. And more recently, I've been baptized into the Georgian Orthodox Church just before I got married. This was in 2009. When I came to Georgia, I was Christian, but things have changed my thoughts, changed my ideas. Have you seen that Mitchell and Webb sketch, Are We the Baddies? Where David Mitchell in the sketch is questioning, he's pretending to be a Nazi, whether they're the baddies because they got the skull on their caps. And I saw things in Georgia. The priests led the attack on the gay pride marchers. And in 2016 in America, when Trump was elected, he had a big support from the Christian nationalists. And I was thinking, are we the baddies? And now I would say I'm no longer a Christian. I'm agnostic. I'm not atheist. I don't know. I don't know if there is a God or if there's not a God. And if you can ask Google, does God exist? And Google says, well, I don't know. Georgia is the only country in Asia with crosses on its flag. Although some would dispute whether it's in Asia. I see Georgia more transcontinental, part Asia, part Europe, like Russia, like Turkey, like Armenia, Cyprus, and Azerbaijan. They have some. Georgia's trans, but transcontinental. And Georgia has similar politics to Russia in regard to the LGBTQIA people. There's no gay marriage here. It's written into the constitution, and you can't have a gay pride and things like this. This is Georgia. This is more of an Asian mentality or Middle Eastern mentality. Islam. In England, I taught for a while in a mosque. I was teaching English, and the students were Pakistani, so I learnt something about Islam. I'm worried about extremists of all religious and political identities, that they believe they're right and nobody else is, and they will kill for those beliefs. The Wahhabism in Saudi Arabia is dangerous, like the white nationalism in America. And going into politics, it's quite a toxic subject at the moment. It's very divisive. I think I might be woke, as I have empathy with people that don't look like me. I read fiction, so maybe I'm woke, if woke is a thing. I don't know. When I voted in England, I would vote for the Green Party. I believe we should be doing better with the environment. I have lots of little cars, but I don't have a real car. I live in a city, so I don't need a real car. I can walk or take public transport wherever I need. If I lived in a village, this might be different. I've also taken no flights since 2018. I haven't been back to UK since 2016 when they voted for Brexit, which led me to despair about the UK. I don't know why they want to be so divisive. I don't know why they believed the lies of the Brexiteers, but that's maybe a problem of education. I don't know about the American politics. I see it's extremely divisive. I know my audience is mostly American. I don't know why anyone would have voted for Trump. Not just because he's the first president in 100 years that doesn't have a dog, but for many other reasons as well, as I'm sure you know, and I'm sure some other booktubers have talked about. I'm very much against racism in any form. I grew up, as I said, in Slough. Slough was a multicultural town. We had Sikh temples, we had 2 Sikh temples, we had mosques, we had the Polish Catholic Church. Like I said, I went to the Anglican Church. People are people. There's good and bad people of every race, every background. But just because someone looks different for you, it doesn't mean that they're evil or they're suspect. It's just talk to them. You might find you have more in common than you have not in common. I'd also like to see a united Ireland. It's been over 100 years since the Easter Rising, and I think Ireland should be one. Do I have any subscribers left? If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. Please feel free to comment. I'll answer any comments, any questions below. I won't be talking about sex, religion and politics in most of my videos. It's just this one. I thought I'd get it all out there, and to hell with the subscriber count. And if anyone's still around, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.